Right then, another T5 video. The truck is nowhere to be seen, it's out there getting ready for Raptor line and out bed. So we're sort of pushing forward as much as we can because I said we need to take the bed off and that'll mean we can get it in the dyno, which I didn't think was going to happen. So it's working out pretty good. So the gearbox is already built, that's sorted. Watch the previous video to see what happened with that, quaif, diff and what have you. Pretty happy with that. So now all this you can see is the engine. Got a tubular manifold, all that sort of stuff to go on it, but that's hiding away at the minute. We're trying to keep up with demand, so some of the stuff weren't quite ready as well. So anyway, forget about it. This needs to be built pretty quickly, pretty soon, and we can get it in probably next week if we get chance, if we get caught up with everything we've got going on. So where to start? Probably start here on the block. So for people not familiar with these engines, so BNZ, BPC, very similar to the earlier engines, AXD and what have you, but the different on where the turbo flange is. So this is the front, I think, I can't remember which way around it is now, but yeah, this is the back. We're not upside down, but we're backwards here. So this is where the turbo goes on here, the oil feed and returner here, but on the older engine they've got like a little platform for it to sit on, but they've all got the problems that we had to overcome when we were doing the turbo kits. I think this is the better design, a bit easier to get the manifolds to work and stuff, at least the original ones. But anyway, so aluminium block, everything's gear driven, so there's no timing belt, no timing chain, but gears mean they're a bit noisier, but it works in Formula 1 cars, so it'll work in these. The sort of thing that's a little bit interesting about these engines, or it becomes uninteresting if you realise that it fails, as standard, these have got like they call it Nicosol, plasma, whatever you want to call it, many different terms for it, but it's basically a sprayed on, like a metal coating that's got a slightly rough texture that holds oil and still seals pretty well and insulates it a little bit, and it doesn't wear out, it's hard as nails. But these, I think, were the first diesel engine or first passenger, commercial, whatever, diesel engine to have that coating in mass production anyway. I'm not 100% sure on that, but I'm pretty sure I did a training course, not a training course, but like an informational course on it years ago. And what happens with these is it just decides to come away from the aluminium block, drop down, and you end up with a cylinder liner in your sump, loads of oil consumption, knocking, banging, not running pretty good. So knowing we're going to go for up to 400 horsepower if we make it, we wanted to do things a little bit different, which meant getting some sleeves put in there. So our engine build shop has pressed some sleeves in. Now that creates its own set of problems. Hopefully we don't have them problems, but we'll see. We have problems with sinking and stuff like that, but they do a lot of sleeves. They're confident these will be right. We shall see. The other interesting thing about them as well, I don't know where they are, they're kicking about on here somewhere. Should be some head bolts and some mains bolts, but you can see it from the top here. This is the threads for the head bolts, but it's like a big long insert. I'm not sure if we can get a picture of one because they don't come out very easily. But the head and the mains bolts are kind of, not like an old Rover that the head gaskets go on, but the one complete, it's like one complete like sort of threaded union. So when you bolt the crank in, that pulls down, and when you bolt the head in, that pulls up. So you've not actually got any threads that are required to have any strength in the block, so to speak. They're all sort of taking that load. So in theory, harder you push it down with the cylinder pressure, harder the crank pulls it, and harder the head pushes. So you end up basically, it should hold it together a bit better. I don't know whether that'll work or not. It should stop the block deforming, which then means head gaskets go. A lot of these, when they fail, it's usually oil coolers that fail and you're mixing oil and water. But anyway, I digress. It's ready to go. This has got the crank in it. I'll try and not kill myself. It's not happening. There. Oh dear, it's a bit bottom heavy that. Sorry Danny, I'm ruining your video here. There. This has got the crank in at the minute, which as far as the journals are concerned is pretty much the same as a PD 150. So nothing fancy there. Obviously see the big gear that drives everything. So it's all quite substantial stuff. We've not done anything fancy with that. We'll just put some nice quality bearings in there and hopefully that holds up. We were going to do main studs and edge studs on this build, but because we've done the sleeves as well, I wanted to keep that side of things factory, and then if we have any egg gasket problems, we've probably got 2 or 3 different directions we need to go to improve things. But I wanted to see how far this was going to take us and then go from there, because I think people having egg gasket problems on these have probably had bad rebuilds and stuff, but we'll see. As long as you've got a good skim on the deck and a good skim on the head, it should be fine. So that's the block. Could go on forever about little intricacies with these engines, but everybody knows they've got problems, but when done right, they can go pretty well. So some oil pump, nothing interesting going on there, big timing cover. Pistons, as usual for our builds, we've got the coatings, top and bottom. These are 81mm from these. We've gone a little bit deeper on the pockets as well. We've not opened the ball up at all because I'm not really too worried about cylinder pressures giving us any problems on this, but we'll see. But they've all been weight matched and everything, and we're happy. Rods took a bit of time to get a set of 5 that were end to end and weight matched, but we've got them. They're sorted. Piston rings, we'll do what we need to do with them. I think they're already gapped and sorted and ready to go, but we'll see. Obviously, rocker cover, new gasket, all the timing gear, brand new thermostat, always a good idea. We might modify that because I don't know what that comes out at, but we'll take it to bits and have a look. Water pump, that's all gear driven as well, and you've got seal between the engine and between the water, so if you have any problems, you mix your oil and water in there as well, which can be a bit annoying. New thermostat, heat exchanger, oil coolant heat exchanger, they fail a lot, all the seals, genuine oil filter, cleaned up housing, all the bolts, all sorts going on. Rockers, same again, make sure the ends are not poking out, that's all good, they're all nice and clean. A little bit of rust been stood a little bit. Injectors, these are some custom ones. We sell the 50% on the website and we sort of run out of puff on them, if I remember correctly, about 350 horsepower last time before you started making it smoke. So we've gone for some 100% on that, some custom made. If these work out good, we'll offer that as a service because it shouldn't really be any more expensive or not much more. All the random gaskets that we need, I'm pretty sure that's the wrong one. Somebody's picked out the one for like I was talking about earlier, that's the turbo one, pretty sure. Might be talking rubbish. Anyway, we'll sort that out. What else did I want to talk about? Race camshaft, got that sorted. New injector wiring loom. Iron A black top lifters and all that sort of stuff, all cleaned up nice. The seals that are on these are an absolute fortune as well, which is annoying because they're just O-rings, but anyway. And then the head, this obviously, people just say these are like a 4-cylinder just with an extra cylinder, which block-wise is pretty much accurate, but head-wise, total opposite, because you've got the inlet going in at this side and the exhaust coming out this side, so you've got a cross-flow situation, which you don't have on the 8-valve. This is a 2-valve the same, but you've got an inlet and an exhaust on the opposite side, so definitely works for packaging a little bit better. Not good on the T5 engine because everything's inlet manifold off job and the seals are a pain on them, so we might make a plenum on this, but I don't think we've really got time, so we'll see. I would like to do things different. If we only had one project, we'd definitely go deeper, but it is what it is. And then head gasket, we've still got a choice of head gaskets. We always like to go for the thinnest possible, but leave a little bit more room for the pistons to hit the head and make sure we've got the tolerances where we need them. So, quick whip through. If Paul sees anything worth mentioning, we'll mention it in the next video or the next part of the video. But yeah, we're going to get it all put together, and then when we get chance, we'll get the clutch, flywheel, all that stuff thrown on the engine, get the gearbox all bolted up as one, turbo and everything on, and we'll get some more videos out. Hopefully that's the end of this video. I'd rather do it as one, and then the next one after that should be fitting it to the truck, getting it on the dyno pretty soon afterwards, but we shall see. So Paul's got the engine sorted. We finally had a chance to make this. Had to pull some strings in the fab shop to get it sorted, but the manifold's all sorted. The turbo that's going on, we couldn't get him in time. There's a bit of a shortage on the bearings or something like that for some reason, so we've had to repurpose another one. That one came off Tariq's Golf, I think, so absolute pain to re-engineer them, so I wish I'd probably put a brand new one on, but anyway. So yeah, custom tip pipe that we do for this turbo kit with the air filter. There's a bracket for that as well. Some little bits of stuff to extend some wiring around here. This is the EGR cooler delete pipe, quite a complex arrangement. Got a weird fitting where it seals in there, so that's a bit of a pig to sort out, but sorted. 3-inch downpipe, obviously this being a BNZ DPF car, it's got the lambda sensor in there, which we keep in, don't really need to, but we do. And then the exhaust, which when we get over to the truck we'd see what it's like, but 3-inch, no silencers in this part obviously, but I probably want to put 2 silencers and a resonator in if we can, because it's a bit boomy in that and unbearable on long drives, especially when you're going uphill. And it will be with this noisy thing. So the engine's all together. The only thing that we've not got on really at the front is the inlet and the alternator that you can see here. The alternator's absolutely filthy on the other engine. That one's all clean up, but we'll get that on. The power steering pump goes in there. So these are on this is on a cush drive. So basically like a rubber, it's not even a belt, it's just like a round rubber thing that just shoves on there. And then the power steering's off a gear drive, which obviously noisy, but fine on a commercial engine. So yeah, really happy with this. It should do what we need it to do. If we find that the 28 turbo's a bit laggy than we want it to be, we'll put a 2260 on it and just accept that we're going to have to probably be at 300 horsepower. We're not nearer to 400, but we'll see what it does. It's a tow rig at the end of the day. Then the gearbox, that's all ready to rock. We are going to change this. We just put this back together to keep it sealed up. This has got a couple of little bits of teeth missing, so we are going to change that for a brand new one, but that weren't here when we finished building the gearbox. And then the clutch and flywheel, so it's a Sachs race, solid disc, gear side, that goes to the gearbox side, so not that way. And then the Sachs race pressure plate, which this is the same clutch that we've got in at the minute, and it's never slipped, it's never gave us any trouble, but it's all brand new, so we'll put it all together as it is. So the next video is going to be the engine out of the truck and hopefully going back in, so we'll go over and film that now.